Namaskaram, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, sloka 5. In this sloka, Bhagavan says, elevate yourself through the power of your mind and not degrade yourself. For the mind can be friend and also the enemy of the self. So the enemy is within us. If we don't control our mind, the enemy is within us. If we control our mind, it becomes friend. So the mind is a friend, or it can be enemy to our Atma. Elevating ourselves in the spiritual path is our own responsibility. Seeking a guru and going to satsang and seeking getting a knowledge from a saint. We should take effort to go to them and get the knowledge. So how do we get the knowledge? By reading the scriptures, by reading about the Leelas of God, Bhagavan. So it is our responsibility. And there we are taught, we are explained. And it is our responsibility to follow that. There are two trees on the tree, there are two birds on a tree, and one bird keeps eating the fruits continuously, going to each branch and each fruit. The other bird just sitting, and it is not moving like this. So this is how the one bird represents how the mind is controlled. So there are no desires. The other one is uncontrolled mind, where you keep getting things. So you are searching the material objects. We go after them. So you become restless. You are not remaining calm. Whereas the other bird remaining calm, it sits calmly and it eats what is needed for it. So this is how we should have our mind under control. When you have your mind under control, that helps us to elevate in the spiritual path. So the realized saints are there on the earth. So we should go to them and get the guidance and follow. They teach us, but it is our responsibility to follow. So the efforts have to be taken. So that efforts taken by us depend on how our mind speaks. So everything depends on the mind. So the mind has to be under control. When mind is under control, it is our friend. When mind is not under our control, it is our enemy. That means when mind is under control, we do only good karma. So the Atma is benefited by that. Because when you do good karma, you are not carrying more heavier baggage in this birth. So Atma gets better birth next time, or Atma does not get freed from the cycle of birth and death. When you have uncontrolled mind, you tend to do only the bad karmas. So the Atma takes the birth again and again. So in this way, mind becomes a friend to Atma, or mind becomes enemy to Atma. So this is what explained in this sloka by Bhagavan. And we have a tendency to complain the external factors are responsible for not controlling mind, but it is not so. For example, when we attend the sloka class or satsang, we say, no, I don't have time, I have got visitors and I have to prepare this, that. So all these excuses are created by us. If our mind thinks, yes, I am going to attend. So mind thinks of the thoughts of satsang, what will be taught there, then my intellect will say, yes, you can make it, and you can make a schedule in such a way that there will be a time allotted for attending the class or learning Vedas, something. So this is how the controlled mind becomes friend to that Atma. So mind, when you say mind, it's a bundle of thoughts. And mind, intellect analyzes. Then chitta, you get attached to the object or a person and go after that. Ego, we are identified with body. So if I say I am Degam, then I get into ego. Because I think of my body, I become body conscious. And they are not separate entities, all there together. That is what Lord Krishna says. When you surrender to God, you surrender your mind and intellect to God. Only then that's a true surrender. And in all scriptures like Panchatasi and all those Adi Shankara, everyone talks about the divisions of mind, and you have to surrender everything together. Only then you can elevate yourself to God realization. When you are attached to material objects, you are not bringing your mind under control. So there should not be attachment, and you should have higher ideal. There should not be attachment, and you should aim for higher ideal. This is what this sloka says. There was a rishi who did penance, and he wished to extend his lifetime to learn Vedas. So Brahma, he did meditation tapas on Brahma, and he also granted that. And 5 times the rishi wanted to extend the time, and every time Brahma appeared, he said, no, I have not yet completed, I have not yet completed, I would like to live some more time to learn completely the Vedas. Then 5th time when Brahma appeared, the rishi asked, no, I have not yet. Then Brahma showed him 3 mountains. Then the rishi was so happy. Oh, I learned 3 mountains of, I got 3 mountains of knowledge. Then Brahma, he just took a handful of sand from that 3 mountains and he showed. Then rishi asked, what's this? Only this much I have learned. Then Brahma said, Vedam is God, Lord Vishnu, and you cannot learn him completely unless when you learn Veda, you should have a goal of realizing God. You have not done. You said you wanted to learn only. So you were learning without having a goal of God realization. So that is, your wish cannot be fulfilled because there is no goal you have set. You just wanted to read Vedas, learn Vedas. And Vedas have no end. And God, Vedas is a representation of God. Then he realized his mistake and he went to a place called Mattapalli. Then there he did penance, and this time when he did penance, the penance was only on, meditation was only on Lord Narasimha. And Lord Narasimha was so much impressed by the way he did it, and he appeared, he gave darshan to him, and he gave him Vaikuntha Prapti. So the purpose of learning Vedas to be understood by us. When we learn Vedas, why should we learn? What is the purpose? The purpose is realizing God, because Veda itself is God. So when we don't think of God and reading, there is no point. So God realization has to be there. So this is what we learn in the spiritual path. So this is a great message we get from this sloka.